Hi, it's Michelle with the Austin Movie Show. I'm sitting here with Ethan Hawke, and we're here today to talk about his film, The Hottest State, which is premiering here in Austin. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
Good,
I'm glad to
good.
be here. Thanks for having me on your program.
Not a problem. We were excited to have you, hometown boy.
I was born in Austin, so I'm happy to be back here.
How important was it for you to premiere your movie here in Austin?
The biggest collaborator of my adult working life has been Richard Linklater. And the work that he has done with the Austin Film Society has been so impressive. It's been such an inspiration to me. One of the first benefits that I ever did, or when Before Sunrise came out, which is more than 10 years ago, we did these joint benefits, one for my theater company and the other for the Austin Film Society, which we raised a bunch of money for. And Rick has just ran with this. They've raised so much money and helped start so many young people's careers and given so much money out for young filmmakers. And so when I was making The Hottest State, my dream of the finish line was always premiering it at the Paramount. You know, that was where, oh man, if I can finish this movie, I can get a distributor, if I can get it to come out, and Rick will have an event, and we'll raise money for Austin Film Society, and I can show it to my family, because you know I still have a lot of family here in Texas, and they can come in and watch it right at the Paramount. And so that's tonight, so I'm really happy about that.
Let's talk about the movie. So this is a movie that was adapted from a book that you wrote of the same name, The Hottest State.
Right.
And so tell us about the story.
It's a very, very simple story. I mean, the idea of this movie, well, I should say when I wrote the book, I was in my early 20s and really struggling with relationships and realizing how that it's through relationships that we define ourselves and how we learn about who we are. And truth of the matter is I wanted to read a book about, there's so few stuff about young men in relationships. There's so much stuff about young women, but there's something, you know, men are often insecure about talking about these things. And I thought, oh hell, I'll try to write a story about that. And I did, and it was really fun, and I learned a lot about it, about writing, and it was kind of a cathartic experience for me writing it. And then about 10 years went by, and these producers were interested in making movies, approached me about making this. And I don't know, it seemed like maybe it'd be fun to revisit it as a grown-up, you know? I'm a father now, and my life is so different. The book was so personal, and I thought maybe it'd be interesting to approach this. And I also wanted to make a movie. I mean, it's hard to get the money to make a movie together. And people were interested in giving me the money to do this one, so I did it.
So there was somebody, one of the stars of this movie, that was in Chelsea Walls, that was partially helpful in inspiring you to go ahead and push this film along.
When I was making Chelsea Walls, I met this guy right here, Mark Webber, who is, I just fell in love with him. You know, we were a lot alike, and I thought, wow, he would be really right to play this part of William Harding. And so I started adapting it with him in mind. He gave me the energy to do it. I never seriously considered anybody else for the part.
Oh, wow. Wow. Is that how a lot of the casting went? Were there people already in your head that were going to play some of the parts?
I mean, it's one, in many ways, this movie is not a movie the way that most movies that get released are, in that it's like cinema is self-expression in some strange way, this film. And it's kind of style a movie that used to be popular in the 70s. And there's one, I mean, the movie is so much about William that I had no idea who else to cast, you know. Catalina came in, and, you know, the part was written to be like, you know, a little Sarah Lawrence white girl. But Catalina had such a great take on the character that just changed that whole dynamic. And once she's Latino, then her mother needs to be Latino, and then all I cast Sonia Braga. So it all kind of, and then the whole movie changes because of casting Catalina in a strange way. I decided that in the book they go to Paris, and I thought, well, maybe I'll play on the Hottest State themes and kind of mix those metaphors a little bit and go down to Mexico. And
Catalina's character, Sarah, is an aspiring singer. Was there any thought of her maybe doing some of the singing, or did you already kind of have worked out in your head how you wanted the music handled? Because the music is really a big part of this film, too.
It is. I always thought of the music the movie kind of like a musical, like one of those old Vincent Minnelli movies. You know, when you're 21 and falling in love, it's set to music. It's a mixtape. You know, I mean, like, that's what it is. So I wanted the whole movie to feel like this kind of mixtape. But I wanted all the music to be original, because I didn't want to just buy. I don't like that so much when you go see a movie and they just bought a ton of old music and like, oh, what's the best scene in the movie? That scene where they played that Rolling Stones song that everyone loves so much.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yeah, we wanted Catalina to do all her own singing in it, and we started working on it. And then Catalina finally said one day, she said, I think it would be so much better if you get somebody else to sing the songs. Because it's hard to do. And and she did a great job. She learned to play the guitar, and she was there while we found this great Rocha, this Argentinian singer, to sing the songs. And we were all there, and Catalina was there, and we worked on how we should do them and how insecure the song should sound, you know, just to kind of find the character together. That was a really fun aspect of the movie.
And so the rest of the music was original music
composed by Jesse Harris.
Harris.
Yeah, and he wrote a bunch of those songs for Norah Jones's first record. And he's a beautiful songwriter. And I knew him when I first moved to New York. And so I knew that I had a character who was a songwriter. So I called him up and asked him if he had some songs, or could he write some songs for this movie. And the idea just ballooned out there until we thought, well, why don't he write all the music for the movie? And it'll all be have a continuity of authorship, and that the music would be kind of a narrator. You know, this mixtape idea, we'd go with it, and it would be like a Greek chorus, and we'd get other people to record Jesse's songs. So Catalina's character would sing some of them, and, you know, for example, the movie starts, and it's supposed to be Texas, a flashback of the Texas. So what should the score to that be? We're like, well, Willie Nelson. So I was like, Jesse, what's the best song you got? Let's send it to Willie and see if he'll do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's how we kind of worked it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of personal aspects of this movie and of the book, of course. And it was just so touching just to see that guys go through that too. You know, guys go through as much pain and heartache as a lot of women do. Yeah. And it's kind of cool. And I hope that more men go out and see it and not think that this is still a chick flick, you know.
Yeah, right. They probably will.
And they'll be so mistaken, but the girlfriends will take them and then they'll see that it's going to be their story too.
My hope for the movie, in some strange ways, they'll be like, you know, the classic guy with a tear in his beer over some girl who broke his heart, and his buddy will say to him, you know, did you ever see that movie, The Hottest State? And the guy said, no. It's like, slide him the DVD.
Like,
and the guy will feel a little bit better later. Like, all right, I can carry on. Thank you. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you.